when did you actually become a Christian and give your life to the Lord?
Well, it took 3 of his servants. One of them here tonight. I come home from work. There was no work for aircraft mechanic in Tennessee at that time. So I went to the Ford place and asked for about a job, and he said, well, if you're a Ford mechanic, I'll put you to work. I said, I'm not a Ford mechanic. I'm an aircraft mechanic, but if I can work on aircraft, I figure I can fix your Fords pretty quick. So anyway, he hired me. And I come home from work one night. It was about, the Baptist church was yet in the basement, and they was having a revival. Somebody informed my wife, and she said, let's go to the revival tonight. Can't go. Got to mow the yard.
So
well,
you were married by then?
Huh?
You were married by then?
Oh, yeah, I'm married.
You
yeah.
got off that island?
We got married while I was in service.
Okay.
Yeah, she met me down there. That's what that says. That night changed that. I immediately got in touch with her, and we were married the 10th of October of that year in Miami.
So
Florida.
that experience in the Bermuda Triangle, that made you a married man.
That did it. That taught me that she was right for the first time and many times thereafter, I'll say.
So she invited you to the revival meeting, and you tried to get out of it?
She insisted that she'd mow the yard. Now, she was 98 pounds, sopping wet. And the mower I had was 22-inch push mower, real tight. And can you imagine a 98-pound woman? Of course, I guess I managed to mow the yard sometime instead of her doing that, but she said, I'll mow the yard. Well, she got me over there. I don't remember a thing about the guy except that he hailed from, I didn't know the name, and it's got me now, from somewhere in Mississippi. I don't remember a song he sung. I don't remember a thing about his preaching. But in the choir was a young lady right in the middle. And I don't know why. I mean, I was happy married, and I wasn't looking for nobody, but there's something about her that fascinated me. I later found out what it was. But anyway, when they give the invitation, as soon as they give the invitation, she gets up and starts out and makes her way out of the... And I've often wondered what Satan must have said to her while she's coming down there when she's deciding to. But she came to me as straight as a martin ever went to his hole. She wasted a few words. I don't know you, and you don't know me. Well, I knew all that, didn't I? That's wasted. But she said, the Lord sent me. Well, I knew that too. She talked to me. You probably get shot for doing that now in church, but she stayed there and talked to me, and somebody else would come when I want to say something, she'd step back. When they left, she stepped up. They dismissed the service, but it didn't make a difference to her. She didn't know about it. She stayed there till the pastor shook hands with everybody, and Brother J.L. Trent, I can see him now with a big Bible flopping over his hand. He read my heart off the throne of praise, like your radio signal comes, your TV signal. I took one step toward him and gave him my hand and God my heart. And since that time, I've been a different person. Mm-hmm. I was a sailor. He made a Christian out of a sailor.
Isn't that remarkable? So your wife inviting you, a lady in the choir having a burden for you, and the pastor having his Bible and looking you in the eye. And
three tucks. He used 3 of his servants.
And then you went into the ministry. So just in wrapping it up here, tell us about you have been preaching how many years and how many churches and how many states?
Well, we sung in the quartet. I think I've got that on one of the picture of the quartet on here that they can see sometime whenever you run them. my wife and her first cousin and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
We
Is that
had
them?
Had a quartet. There they are.
Yeah.
They got there.
Yeah.
And we sang in a quartet till the Lord called me, kept tightening screws down. I said, Lord, I don't know nothing. I don't know where to, don't know. Nobody want to hear me. So he kept tightening screws till I accepted it. And I put a fleece out. I don't know whether you believe in that or not, but it'll work. Get it work, forget it, and it worked for me. I said, Lord, if I've got to do this. Now, remember, we was in quartet, we'd sung over 4 counties. And not only in Free Will Baptist churches, but in other churches also. And I don't know how many churches that I knew and places that knew me and us. And I said, Lord, if I've got to preach, I want you to send Brother Jimmy Dykes, Free Will Baptist preacher, elder statesman, to me and ask me to go to Van Hill Free Will Baptist Church, not for a song service, but for a revival. Been easy for him to call a quartet for. So I made it as hard as I could. He tightened the screws a little bit more. And I broke out in Natural Tunnel, Virginia in 1954 and tried to preach about that lot. Oh, I did have some experience there that you'll be interested in knowing in that revival before I tried to preach. The preacher gave an invitation that night, and an old gentleman made his way toward the altar, and I met him. When I began to question him a little bit at the altar, he was a Confederate soldier. He was the last 1 or 2 that was still living in 1954. Mm-hmm. And he was backslidden. And I had the privilege of praying with him and leading him back to the Lord.
Isn't that something? But now your testimony is summed up in just the unseen hand. Because you're convinced the Lord spared you through that night.
All the way through. All the way through.
Well, you were a terrific sailor for America and soldier for the kingdom.
Tried to be.
I know you do. Thank you, Brother Brown. Thank you so much.